What happens when two of the most influential voices in contemporary Islamic thought confront each other over the foundations of authority, leadership, and unity in Islam? In this imagined debate, Allame Tabatabai, the revered Shia philosopher and author of Tafsir al-Mizan, meets Yusuf al-Qaradawi, one of the most prominent Sunni scholars of the 20th and 21st centuries, known for his work Islamic Awakening between rejection and extremism. Though they never met in person, their intellectual trajectories, grounded in deeply different traditions, intersect on questions that continue to divide and define the Muslim world. Was religious authority meant to be divinely appointed or determined by the community? Does the legacy of Karbala point to a deeper truth about justice and leadership? Or does it risk trapping the Ummah in historical grievance? And can there be unity without first confronting disagreement? Watch as two minds, deeply committed to the Islamic tradition, clash over what it means to preserve the soul of Islam in a fractured world.
When the Prophet passed away, he left not just a message, but a method, and that method requires a guide. Ali was designated at Ghadir Qum, not merely praised. Even Sunni historians record, Man kuntu mawla fa aliyun mawla. You cannot ignore this. Islam is not just law, it is spirit, wisdom, and unbroken connection to divine truth. The imamate preserves this continuity. Without it, religion becomes vulnerable to kings, politics, and personal whims.
And yet, no such claim was acted upon by the Prophet's closest companions. Abu Bakr was chosen through shura, reflecting the will of the community. Islam is not esoteric. Its strength lies in its openness and universality. You wish to place divine designation into the hands of a few when the Prophet made no such exclusive pronouncement. Ghadir Qum was about love and respect, not succession. Our community chose unity through consultation, not divine inheritance.
Consultation? Was there truly shura at Saqifa when most of the Prophet's family was absent, buried in grief? Abu Bakr may have been virtuous, but the process was flawed and rushed, and the consequences were severe. The division that you now lament began there. The Prophet's family, the al-Bayt, were sidelined. Are we to believe that the Quran repeatedly commands love for them and then leaves them without a role after the Prophet's death?
You romanticize the al-Bayt while ignoring that the Prophet's mission was for all humanity, not a family dynasty. Yes, we love Ali, Fatima, Hassan, and Hussein, but love is not authority. The caliphs were not perfect, but they preserved Islam, expanded its reach, and ensured its survival. You accuse us of betrayal, yet you build a theology where your leaders are infallible, hidden, and beyond question. That is not prophetic legacy. It is elitism in religious garb.
If elitism means trusting those with knowledge and moral purity, then yes, we uphold that. The Prophet said, I leave behind two weighty things, the Quran and my al-Bayt. You took one and discarded the other. Look at what followed. Dynasties, corruption, the massacre at Karbala. Was Yazid preserving Islam or desecrating it? The imams of the al-Bayt never ruled with armies. They taught, they resisted, they wept. That is the sunnah we follow.
You use Karbala like a banner to judge 1,400 years of Sunni scholarship. Do you think Malik, Abu Hanifa, or Imam Shafi'i supported Yazid? No. We too condemn injustice, but we do not turn it into a sectarian lens through which we view all history. You create a duality, us versus you. True reform in the Ummah cannot come from dividing it further, or by insisting that truth is locked away in the lineage of a few.
But what is worse? Division with justice or unity with falsehood? Should we have accepted Muawiyah's politics as legitimate? Imam Hussein's blood is not just memory. It is a moral standard. It reminds us that silence in the face of tyranny is betrayal. You speak of unity, but when unity leads to injustice, it is hollow. Our insistence on imamate is not to divide. It is to preserve the soul of Islam against historical compromise.
You cannot build the soul of Islam on permanent grief. We must face the future, not drown in the past. Your theology turns the masses into mourners, always waiting for the Mahdi, waiting for justice. But Islam is proactive. It empowers people now. Through ijtihad, scholarship, and renewal, we move forward. We do not wait for hidden guides to solve our crises. And yes, we have flaws, but we work through the community, not above it.
The Mahdi is not an excuse to wait. He is a symbol of justice, a reminder that ultimate truth resists corruption. Meanwhile, we don't sit idle. Our scholars produce ijtihad, our institutions educate, and our people serve. But we don't compromise on divine authority. You invoke renewal. But what is being renewed? Is it still the Prophet's Islam or something diluted by majority rule? The Ummah needs depth, not just motion. It needs anchors, not just slogans.
Let me be clear. We reject tyranny, past, present, and future. But our solution is not to elevate men to divine status. Your Miraji today wield unchecked power. Where is their accountability? Islam without transparency becomes dogma. And where are the women in your theology? Where is pluralism? Your system remains exclusive, hierarchical, and distant from the needs of a struggling global ummah. The future demands accessibility, not metaphysical elite guardianship.
Accountability? You speak as if our Miraji are monarchs, yet their authority comes not from wealth or armies, but from their mastery of jurisprudence and the trust of the people. They do not impose, they interpret, they lead through scholarship. And as for women, look to Lady Fatima. She stood against power, spoke truth at the mosque, and remains our ideal. Your model reduces religion to law and numbers. Ours holds to the Quran's deeper currents: justice, purity, resistance.
And yet, your tradition has institutionalized mourning more than action. Islam calls us to joy, to hope, to build. While you interpret divine will through a chain of exclusive scholars, we open the gates of ijtihad for renewal in every age. Islam is rahmah, mercy, not perpetual grievance. Why has the idea of the Mahdi, who hasn't spoken in over 1,000 years, become central? The Quran is here, the Prophet's Sunnah is here. Let's act on them instead of waiting.
You misunderstand grief. It's not a paralyzing sorrow, but a living conscience. Karbala is not just a tragedy. It's a lens through which we view power, truth, and responsibility. The Mahdi is not a distraction. He is the ultimate promise that injustice will end, not by military might, but by moral leadership. In the meantime, our scholars have resisted colonialism, written encyclopedias, stood with the oppressed. If your model has produced unity, why is the Ummah in pieces?
Because we've all made mistakes, but clinging to historical wounds won't heal the present. The colonialists loved our divisions: Sunni versus Shia, Arab versus non-Arab. And we fed that fire. You talk of Karbala. Yes, it was unjust. But must our children inherit that trauma? You accuse us of simplification, but your narrative has created suspicion and insularity. True reform comes not by withdrawing into clerical hierarchies, but by engaging the Ummah as one living body.
And what unites a body if not the heart? The heart of Islam lies in sincerity, not slogans. We are not seeking division, but recognition that leadership matters, that succession matters, that divine guidance is not a detail, but a principle. When Ali was passed over, a fracture began. Healing it means acknowledging it, not erasing it. If we cannot speak about truth because it discomforts others, then unity becomes tyranny masked in brotherhood.
Truth without mercy becomes a sword. You focus on lineage. we focus on legacy. The Prophet's true inheritance is not blood, but message. And that message is, guide with wisdom, act with compassion, consult with the people. We must move from exclusive claims to shared responsibilities. The caliphate was not perfect, but it was flexible. The imamate, in your formulation, is unchallengeable. If we cannot question authority, we risk stagnation. The Quran does not demand submission to lineage. It demands taqwa.
Then let us agree on this. Islam must be just. But justice requires more than consultation. It requires rightful leadership. When people are guided by power rather than principle, injustice becomes systemic. We say the imams were not kings, but moral compasses, heirs to the Prophet's knowledge. You see lineage, I see responsibility. We are not stuck in the past. We carry its weight to warn the future. When truth is costly, Karbala teaches us to still choose it.
And I say, Islam belongs to all who say, La ilaha illallah. Let us honor the al-Bayt, but not enshrine them above the Ummah. Let us mourn injustice, but not build doctrine upon it. Our strength is our diversity, our ability to rise again after fitna. The road to unity is not paved by agreeing on every point, but by agreeing that the Ummah must survive, thrive, and move forward together.